Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and those who are viewing this meeting remotely. This is a special committee of the Personnel Committee to consider payment for people who unfortunately have not been able to take their holidays. This will be held in public. It is intended to continue that in public unless we get disconnected. If so, then I'll try and get reconnected, and if not, we'll conduct the business at a future time and date. So first of all, do we have any apologies?
Yes, Chair, we've got apologies from Councillor Hussain and Gultasib, and we've also got a substitute, Councillor Mazar, for Councillor Hussain.
Thank you. Any declaration of interest? This is the point on the agenda when any member or officer has any declaration to be made in connection with the business appearing on the agenda this evening. Do we have such declarations at all? No. For the record, we have in the room Councillors Nawaz, Mazar, Stacey Elson, Vera Waters, Anthony Harris, Adrian Andrew and myself, and Democratic Services Officer to my left, Neil Pickin. And remotely we have Michelle Leith, who is the Director of HR, and the other name I can't read, but somebody will tell me. Tech support. Ah, he's driving the place tonight in case we fall over. Okay. Under Local Government Act 1985, this is in the public session, so therefore it will be heard in that way. Michelle, would you like to take us through item 4, which is the report which has been, I believe, demonstrated and published on CMIS?
It has. Okay, I'm happy to do that. The report is derived from business continuity exercise that we did within the workforce. We asked directors if they had staff who had accrued annual leave in substantial amount over the period since lockdown 2020, March 2020. The government did give dispensation for statutory annual leave to be carried over, but we asked directors if there were officers who, as a result of COVID and the COVID response, had not been able to take their annual leave. We received replies from all but one director, and they identified the potential for 17 people who could create a business continuity risk if they had to take all of their leave. So there is this area of the law is quite complex because the Working Time Directive, as written, says that leave should be taken, not paid. However, in the greater interest of the service delivery, we are bringing this report to Personnel Committee tonight. Where officers consent and there is no coercion, it is possible to make the payments. However, for the purposes of good governance and fairness across the organisation, we have put a very simple process in place, or we propose to put a simple process in place. So where annual leave cannot be taken or has not been taken as a direct result of COVID, and line managers can demonstrate that it would be a problem for individuals to take that leave, they will put forward a couple of paragraphs to the Section 151 officer and the Director of HR, as in myself and Deborah Heinsohn. And then if we believe that the criteria has been met, then those members of staff will be offered payment for their annual leave. So that's the background and the basis of the report, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Michelle. It is fair to say that I requested this report personally, and I did get some concerns raised by officers because of the Working Time Directive. However, my understanding, and certainly the people I was talking to outside of the council structure were advising me that if it is proven that there is no coercion for the individuals to have been told you can't have your holiday, and in actual fact, this is exactly where we are. It is important to show that we are within the law and that nobody's under pressure not to have their leave, because that's what the Working Time Directive was all about. I think that's about right, is it, Joe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, that's exactly right. I am.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this were quite clear. I was conscious of the fact that during the last 2 years, there are certain individuals, of which I have a regular contact at a senior level, who were there all the time, every day in, day out. And as a result, I thought it was unfair, because I think I'm correct in saying that the government did allow some leniency with carrying leave forward for a period of 2 years. But obviously, if that wasn't able to be taken, then we have a problem where individuals will either be away from their place of work for an extended period of time, which is why it is for the benefit of the service that this report is here this evening. So I place it for you with recommendations, as you can see. I have confirmed that although it says a business case has to be made, then if committee are minded to support the recommendations here, that business case can be done in a simple way to enable the payment of this going forward to be done in the month of January. With the government announcement saying that we are hoping that from the 26th, people would be coming back to work as normal, although there are some that perhaps will continue to work from home on a regular basis, and some that perhaps don't want to come back to work at all because they enjoy working from home and it works for them. But I think there's a great strength of feeling now that we want to see members of staff and officers back in this building and back in the building which we know is the Civic. Councillor Nawaz, you have a comment to make?
Sorry, I'm happy to support this. I mean, it is in a limited amount of people, but those are crucial people over the past 2 years who have enabled us as a council to ensure that our communities and our council have run in a way that has helped us cope with the COVID pandemic. It is a one-off, so that's understandable, but also I think we can't underestimate the value of these officers who have gone out of the way. And like you say, on a lot of the time, they've done more than the normal hours of work to ensure that our response has been good. And I fully accept that, and I'm happy to support this and happy to second it if you would allow me to, Chair.
Certainly we'll be doing that shortly. Any other comment from members, please? We're happy to support the resolution. I formally move the recommendations out in the report then, which are on items 2.1, 2.2 for members. I'll formally move that. Second, Councillor Nawaz.
Thank you.
Any amendments or comments? Can I move to the vote then? All those in favour of that? That's carried. Thank you very much. Sorry it was short and sweet, but we do have to comply with the resolutions of, and of course, the rules and the law. So I thank you for that, Michelle, and I thank you for your help and guidance over the last few weeks, even though sometimes we might have disagreed on this issue. And I think the record should show this committee and the council's grateful thanks for the very people that are involved in this report tonight, for the efforts they've given over and above the normal course of their duty and their hours of work. So if you could reflect that in the minutes.